Hello and welcome to the No One Asked You podcast. This series, I am once again joined by my wonderful co-host, That Darn Kitty. Kitty and I are sharing our experience reading The Way of Kings for the first time. Each episode we will summarize what we've read and discuss the experience along the way. This is Storming the Archives, The Way of Kings, and today we discuss Chapter 23! Chapter 23! Chapter 23. Many Uses. Kaladin supervises the bridge crew on stone gathering duty while Rock and Teft gather reeds for knobweed sap. Rock and Teft struggle to find any until Syl decides to join the search. She guides Rock to the reeds. Kaladin still doesn't know why Rock can see Syl. Despite his efforts to boost the bridge crew's morale, the crew is not happy to be gathering stones. Kaladin carefully and stealthily hides the reeds underneath the carts near the axle. Rock asks what to do if someone notices the reeds. Kaladin, semi-joking, instructs Rock to say Kaladin is a weaver and wants to make a hat. Then he warns that the fact that they want them at all would probably be enough for the higher-ups to deny them the reeds. Syl tells Kaladin that she likes Rock. He's respectful. Kaladin tells Syl she can follow him instead, but immediately worries because he likes her company. Syl replies that Rock is too respectful. She tries to pull a prank on him, but he took it too seriously for the prank to have been funny. Kaladin observes she's continuing to grow smarter. Another crew member, Natam, approaches. Kaladin tries to make motivational small talk, but Natam doesn't respond. This happens again with another crew member, Scar, who makes a rude gesture. Kaladin realizes his approach in handling the crew members is wrong. They aren't selfish in keeping their food and in not wanting to help the wounded. They just don't think life is worth living. That night, Kaladin, Rock, and Teft make their way through the streets of Sadeas's war camp. They avoid a confrontation with a group of drunken soldiers. Teft wants to turn back but has a change of heart when Kaladin reminds him that they need him. Kaladin observes that Teft seems to long for being needed. The rocks collected during the day are guarded by a lone boy. Kaladin, Rock, and Teft easily manage to sneak in, grab the hidden reeds, and sneak out. Syl lands near Kaladin and informs him she found some bottles. Glass is valuable and tend to be reused, but these bottles have cracks or broken tops. The group makes their way to the honor chasm, where hopefully no one will bother them. Kaladin shivers, personifying his depression as the wretch, thinking about how he felt that night, how it would take control again if he fails to save the bridgemen. Kaladin squeezes a reed, getting 2 drops from the plant. He explains to Rock and Teft that knobweed sap scares away rot spren. Then he remembers that Leighton's wounds already caught the attention of the rot spren. "Why do you care about them?" Teft asks. "They're my men." "That's not what being a bridge leader means." "It means whatever we decide. You, me, the others." "You think they'll let you do that? The Light Eyes and the captains?" "You think they'll pay enough attention to even notice?" Rock notes the Light Eyes have a tendency to notice things that folks wish they wouldn't. Kaladin asks how Rock came to be here. Teft reminds Kaladin that bridgemen don't talk about their pasts, but Rock tells his story regardless. Rock's people have no shard blades. Many of their leaders, called Nuatoma, see this as a great shame. Rock's Nuatoma knows of Alethkar's dueling culture and their tradition that if a man kills a shardbearer, he may take the blade and plate. Rock's leader intends to duel for a blade and plate and promises his riches to the victor. He challenged none other than High Prince Sadeas to a duel. The thought process was that winning the armor first, then the weapon, would be the pragmatic pathway. When he lost, Rock and the rest of the Nuatoma's household became Sadeas's. Rock's Nuatoma was his own family member. Kaladin and Teft are confused by Rock's culture and the concept of one family member being like a slave to another family member. Rock responds with confusion as to why Kaladin would rather serve someone he does not know, someone with whom he has no relation. Kaladin responds that he does know Sadeas. Arrogant, vengeful, greedy, corrupt. Rock agrees Sadeas is not among the finest of Light Eyes, but Kaladin stubbornly claims they're all the same. Kaladin does not believe Rock's leader would have been allowed to take the shard plate had he won. Teft puts more stock in the tradition of a shard bearer becoming a Light Eyes than Kaladin, but lets that part of the discussion lapse. Rock goes on to explain he was a cook for Sadeas, that he was angry about his leader's death, so he put chul dung in Sadeas' food as an act of vengeance. Unfortunately, he put too much in and was sent to the bridge cruise. Teft bursts out laughing while Kaladin shakes his head, amazed. Suddenly, Kaladin has a revelation. This, presumably the group's comradeship, is what he's been missing. Rock asks how Kaladin came to be a bridgeman, to which he responds that he killed a man. Kaladin notes Syl suddenly becoming attentive. Rock is confused, as becoming a bridgeman isn't the punishment for murder, to which Kaladin responds ominously. It wasn't murder. In fact, I was thanked for it by someone very important. And it turns out that Light Eyes don't react very well when you turn down their gifts. Kaladin sits quietly, pained by the memory. The group continues their work in silence. Well, this was a nice chapter of camaraderie.
Yeah, this is where there's just humanity, good humanity, human vibes going between people.
But let's start with the epigraph. You have accused me of arrogance in my quest. You have accused me of perpetuating my grudge against Race and Bavadin. Both accusations are true.
I enjoyed that. I like the honesty of it. It's like, yes, and...
Yep.
Yeah, this writer is very witty.
Yeah, I am what you blame me. I still dislike you for these reasons. Very verbose guy. Poor Kaladin trying to get through to the poor, overworked rock slaves. And they're just like, up yours, dude.
Yeah, really, it's like, you're just not, you're not winning with them. I'm surprised he has even Rock on his side. Rock's just weird.
Yeah.
But I'm glad. And Teft is coming around.
Yep.
So.
And we get a Rock origin story. We'll get to that.
Very cool.
Yeah, but it's very cool. Syl is adorable.
As usual. What else?
I like him. He's respectful. He's too respectful. I hate him. She didn't say I
detest
hate him.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she said, I detest it. Also, I detest it. And I love that she does not care about that contradiction at all.
Truly chaotic.
You should not, so continue.
and the idea of her trying to pull the prank of saying this cow dung is important. And Rock's just like examining it. Chul dung, sorry, not cow.
Yeah, basically. But yeah.
And Syl is also uniquely good at getting the reeds that they need.
Yeah. What's that about? Is it just a spren thing? Or was she some sort of herbalist?
Yeah, I suspect it might be a spren nature thing. She can feel it on the wind or something.
She knows those guys. She knows those reed guys.
Yeah. Then the group, and I think it's fair to say that Syl is a part of the group because she helps with the bottles. The group sneaks out at night to get the reeds. They hide them under the cart near the axle. And then Syl is off finding bottles. I thought that's great. Really makes her feel like one of the group.
Yeah, and she's like, and she does say, look, I couldn't carry them. They're too solid. But, she's still doing her thing. And she also tells them, about the guard. They had already found that kid. They'd already seen him, spotted him. But that's also what she is. She's a sentry. That just reminded me of just the moment of Teft getting a fright from Rock.
That was very funny too, yeah.
Yeah, there were a lot of laughs in this chapter, because there was a whimper from Teft. And then he's like, no, this mountain came up behind me. Yeah, just all of that exchange was so funny.
Yeah. And Kaladin's observation that Teft seems to be a person who craves being needed is interesting because he claims to have betrayed everyone he's ever known.
Yeah. And then as soon as I love that line about, you don't know how a man will react to that statement. Some want to hear that they need it and others don't. And he does not run away from it suddenly. He's actually, it makes him stay.
Yeah.
I want the Tift origin story
I'm sure it's coming, to be honest. I bet it's coming.
eventually. Yeah.
So then they take the reeds to the honor chasm, and he looks over the honor chasm, and Kaladin characterizes his depression as the wretch. And I thought that was
Mm.
such an insightful look into depression, a really interesting, articulated insight.
Yeah, it's something that it's a self that can take over, and that's it. It's the one that will throw you over the edge there, because you'll just have no help, no hope.
Yeah.
It's not completely gone. It's always a possibility
Yep.
as well. So he's like, if I don't save these people, that wretch is gonna come and take over again. So he knows that he's pinned everything on saving these people. He's put that into
Yeah.
it.
He's got a tough road ahead. And then
Mm-hmm.
it's noteworthy that the alchemist said that, each reed is really only good for one drop, and yet Kaladin gets two.
Mm-hmm.
A, that seems important to me. B,
Mm-hmm.
it could suggest the alchemist is not as good as he would like to be, and that Kaladin is that good. Or C, it could
Yeah.
be that Syl is just, good at finding fat, juicy reeds.
There you go. I was wondering about that. Like, at least we got two. It's not that much. I was wondering if we're gonna get like a big difference between what the alchemist guy had said and what we get out. Like, was he lying? But this is a skill issue, it seems.
Get good, scrub.
Yeah.
Rock counts the nation's shard blades roster. And I'm like, ooh,
Mm-hmm.
this should be noted.
Yeah. Some have plate. Some have plate and a shard blade. Others
Mm-hmm.
just have a plate or whatever, and that's how. And their relics passed down from the Radiants
Yeah.
after their betrayal. What was their betrayal? I need to know.
Something selfish, probably. I think they
Mm-hmm.
felt a corruption, didn't they? Of some
Yeah,
kind?
I suppose.
Maybe they tried to take over the entire world?
Yeah, I mean, but all of them? You would have to unite them all. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so there's no way that if Rock's leader had killed Sadius, that they would have just let him leave with the plate.
Yeah, it seems like that's just a story they tell people. Do we think that privilege is only given to Alethi? Or do we just not believe that that privilege happens to anyone? It's a lie across the board.
I think for the most part, it's a lie across the board that's
Mm-hmm.
probably enforced by who the victim of the duel is. Because
Mm-hmm.
I'm less interested in the duel aspect and more interested in the fact that it would be Sadius who died, who is a high prince, who is one of
Mm-hmm.
Elikar's closest advisors. You can't just kill him and then be allowed to leave with a nuke.
Yeah. Exactly. But then, yeah, then again, yeah, you would have to take it. You don't just the shard blade at least seems like it will go to the person. Regardless. I don't know. We don't know.
That's
We
not
haven't seen their
necessarily
crown.
true because Dalinar won a
Yeah.
plate and gave it to someone, didn't
Yeah,
he?
that's
Or a
true.
blade?
Yeah, I think so.
For Elikar.
Mm. Yeah, that's true. And either way, there would be some process, and then you would still have Alethi fighting you in your one little plate. It's just
Yeah.
not going to work. But these mountain people are very hopeful, and they just like, listen, I just want to get one, okay? And they have a very different culture. The Nuatoma, they serve their relatives.
Yeah, so I was just about to bring that up too.
Mm,
I loved the culture shock from that, and it's a really
mm.
interesting point of view to have. Like when Kaladin is like, "Why would you want to serve your own family member?" and Rock is like, "Why would you want to serve someone you're not related to and don't know?" I'm like, "Oh, never thought of that."
Yeah, exactly. It's really clever. Why must I give respect to this person I don't know or whatever? This is if I'm going to serve someone, let it serve the family. That makes sense. But I don't know how they choose, how that he doesn't explain that. He doesn't say we don't choose. Says we don't choose according to the color of our eyes, but
Hmm.
he doesn't explain how that goes. And supposedly his leader was his cousin, so it's not like exactly like it's an uncle or whatever. It's just your cousin. He would have mentioned age, I think, if it was just age. So
Right.
I enjoyed that. The same as your light eyes, only their eyes are not light. That's the
Yeah.
way it was
Yeah.
described. I enjoy his broken English as well.
Yeah.
I love all of it.
It's great. And then he put too much poop in the food. And just them
Too
laughing.
much?
Too much. Sadius deserves a little poop in his food. But the laughter that comes from that and the amazement is when Kaladin has that realization that comradeship, right? That's what that is.
Mhm.
Comradeship is what's missing from the crew.
Camaraderie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just sorry, before we get to the laughter bit, the thing, just going back to Rock's origin story, he does say no peak would fight another peak where a man held one of the blessed blades. So even in his country, it seems like, so they have peaks that will fight each other, but if a shard blade came, nobody would fight each other. They would, if there was, they would not, they wouldn't fight somebody if they had a blade. So it's like,
Mm.
okay, nobody would dare fight them. So if they each peak had their own blade, what would happen then? Would they also be like the Alethi, that they also don't unite?
Hmm.
Interesting stuff. But yeah, the laughter we do find out that it's not because he didn't become a normal slave or whatever. No, he was a cook and he put poop in the in Sadius's food, and well, that's why he became a bridgeman, and just that whole thing causes laughter. And as you said, Kaladin realizes, wait a second, we need this. This is what we need. This is what I need. That's what he needs between them and the others. They need to be themselves and have their own story as well. Their name is the first step, but sharing things, sharing your life and your stories, which does bring out laughter, like you said, that will bring out the camaraderie, and that gives you your life more meaning as well, because you actually
Agreed.
have moments of joy. Yeah. Okay, I had a thought about, we speaking of origin stories. So now it's becoming way more clear to me that, okay, Kaladin actually did kill a shard bearer, and he was not given that plate and not given the sword. That is why he hates Light Eyes so much, because that was the promise that they had said that was it. And turns out Light Eyes don't react very well when you turn down their gifts. That was like the last thing, but before that, it because he talks about, I killed a man, okay, and that's why he became the slave. In fact, I think I was thanked for it by someone very important. So he killed someone, he did this thing, but I don't think he got that shard plate and the shard. Obviously, he didn't. And what happened was Amaram said, no, I'm not going to give you that shard plate and the shard blade, but I'll give you this. And then he was like, no, I want the shard blade. And that's what got him struck down and just disgraced.
Honestly, it's as if you've read my mind. Uh, I
Okay, because mm,
I think that's, yeah, exactly what happened. Exactly what I thought.
okay. Okay, I was wondering if I was being silly. This is the most confirmation we have for that theory, though.
Yeah.
I mean, the first thing I thought of when we had that POV with Kaladin is actually when it was a POV that observed Kaladin. It was that guy, that little kid that died, basically. Yeah, he said, "Oh, people didn't kill people with shard blades and shard plate. They don't do shard bearers. People don't kill them." And I remember distinctly going, "What if Kaladin does? What if that guy does?" And it seems like, yeah, okay, we do actually have confirmation he did. And I want that flashback so badly.
I agree. I really want it. Because if anyone can do it, it's Kaladin.
And it makes sense that that would be what completely disillusions you, because we've had that whole build up of that promise of, if he got, he could be a lighthouse, and that was what the girl wanted, and then they would be, together basically. Not that he noticed that was the other part of it, but
Hmm.
the whole promise of becoming a lighthouse, if you become a shard bearer, is that was central in his life from young. And then he did it and realized, oh, by the way, no, that doesn't happen. That's why that would definitely make me hate light eyes
Agreed.
and have this thing of it's a lie. That's why he reacted so in the way that he did to Rock, saying, well, if you get the shard blade, then you have light eyes. He's like, no, that's a lie. He said it's an outright lie.
Agreed completely.
Hmm. Sorry, spoke a lot. What do you think of the theory? Are you excited about
I
Kaladin?
I love the theory. I'm so excited for Kaladin. I
And
uh
sad.
I hope he gets a shard blade one day. I fear he won't, but I
Mm,
hope he does.
yeah, yeah. There's enough story for it,
Yeah. Oh gosh.
but I don't know how Kaladin is gonna create more camaraderie and jokes and things. Um,
Agreed.
People don't want to talk to him. So how? What is this sharing? How is the sharing gonna happen? Is he gonna just go and tell his story to them? And yeah, I'm glad we learned that this is what we need, but I don't know how he's gonna get it.
Completely agreed. It's going to be
Mhm,
very hard. Maybe he's going to like force some of the crew members to care for the physically care. They don't have to give up their food or anything, but be like, "Hey,
mhm,
you need to watch these guys while they're sick. Like that's your job." And then if they do that, they'll care or something. I don't know.
mm,
Um,
I don't know.
anyway, nice chapter. I'm excited to see where it goes next.
Loved it.
And with that said, thank you all for tuning in. Have a great rest of your week. Subscribe to That Darn Kitty if you get a chance. And we'll see you next time. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Okay, thanks. Bye.